Welcome back to the Maxim Group 2025 Virtual Tech Conference. Joining us now is Glenn Ives, CEO of Castellum Inc., ticker CTM, which we cover with a buy rating and $3 price target. This is a company that we recently just launched coverage on towards the end of April in the defense tech vertical. The company has a strong pipeline and has built a solid base for organic growth, and we have a really high view on the management team and their ability to execute. Real quickly, just on the format for today's discussion, we'll start with a brief overview of the company by Glenn, and then we'll follow up with some Q&A. If at any point you have a question you'd like to submit, please do so using the text box below, and we'll make sure to do our best to make sure that it gets answered. Thanks, everyone. I'll pass it over to Glenn.
Hey, Derek, thanks very much, and really appreciate the opportunity to take part in this conference. The Maxim Group does a super job with these, and I look forward to it. So, so a little bit about our company, Castellum Inc., and I like to refer to it sort of as you did, Derek, as our ticker symbol, CTM. I could probably talk the entire half hour about what we do as a company. I'm pretty proud of what we do. But let me see if I can just sort of summarize in just a couple of paragraphs here. So, we are, a technology company, and I'd like to say we're a leading edge technology company, but, very focused on services and solutions. And our sector is really something we're very proud of, and I think drives us as a company because of the significance of that sector, and that is national security. We are 100% focused on our national security mission customers that we support across the federal government, and primarily defense and a few select federal agencies. But they all have, very evolving requirements when it comes to in the defense world, whether it's aircraft platforms, weapon systems, capabilities, everything from mission systems to communication systems to the command control systems that they require. And our company provides those kinds of technologies and solutions and services so that they can develop those platforms, develop those systems, and ensure that our warfighters who are trying to keep our country secure have the kind of capabilities that they need. And we do that through our people. I think what makes our company very distinctive is that we have some world-class talent when it comes to the very relevant technology domains that the Defense Department and some of the federal agencies need. So when you're talking about tech domains that I think that are constantly reinventing themselves and emerging and exploding in terms of just progress, whether you're talking AI and machine learning, whether you're talking the areas of cyber and cyber warfare, data science, data analytics, everything to do with digital transformation and digital modernization. That's what my guys and gals are very well suited for. And that's what the government is demanding right now.
CTM, baby, let's fucking go.
That is sort of it in a nutshell. And I can give you a couple of examples too, Derek, if you'd like.
Yeah, that would be terrific.
Yeah, so, just to maybe kind of put it in perspective. So let's say the United States Navy is developing a brand new aircraft carrier, which, by the way, they have been doing.
Let's fucking go, bro.
And I think most of us realize the significance of aircraft carriers. There are forward projection power platforms. They give us presence throughout the world. They protect not only our country, but all our allies. We have anywhere, between 10 to 12 carriers that are operational at any given time. Over the years, they need to be upgraded. Old ones need to be retired and decommissioned, and new ones need to be built. And the most recent class of aircraft carriers that the Navy has built is called the Ford class. And what is sort of unique about this new aircraft carrier class of ships is that they've totally transformed in terms of the technology they use to launch aircraft and recover aircraft. So I know many of you have probably watched that movie, Top Gun Maverick, or the original Top Gun, and you've seen aircraft, take off of those ships that we call aircraft carriers. They make it look pretty easy, but there is a lot of technology behind, doing that successfully, safely, and being able to complete their missions. And the old aircraft carriers were launched by steam catapults and recovered the same way. Today, the aircraft carriers are all electromagnetic, much more efficient, much more effective, much more cost efficient as well in the long run. Tremendous amount of technology that goes into developing those systems, both in terms of software, systems engineering, systems integration, software development. There's various aspects of those systems that need to be protected in terms of cyber. Obviously, a tremendous amount of metrics that need to be analyzed and stored and utilized, and that's where the data science and data analytics also come into play. So just, one technology after another that these leading edge platforms that the Navy, the Army, the Air Force all require. And it's our guys and gals that provide that kind of skill, knowledge, and understanding of software development, software engineering, cyber, and model-based systems engineering types of capabilities that help develop those kinds of systems. So when you see a brand new jet take off a brand new aircraft carrier, our company, CTM, plays a major part in making that happen successfully.
Trust the captain, baby.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very impressive. I was wondering, you guys recently had a very large contract win towards the beginning of this year, earlier in this year, 100 million plus. I was wondering if you could just break down for that contract specifically some of the details and what you will be providing as part of that.
Yeah, no, this is it's a very great topic that I love to talk about. Whenever you have a contract win of that size and magnitude for a company like ours in the industry that we're in, it's a major milestone and a major step forward. So most of all, I think it's a testament once again of our product, and our product being our men and women who bring those skills and talents that I described earlier. Our government mission customer at the Naval Air Systems Command, which is really the RDT&E, Research Development Test and Evaluation Enterprise that develops so many of the systems that the Navy needs that has anything to do with aviation. They're about a $60 billion enterprise. And, we feel very, very fortunate to be a part of that enterprise in terms of our support. And this contract was $100 million plus, and supports one of the major programs within that SysCom, that Systems Command. And that major program has to do with an aircraft, a platform, and all the associated weapon systems and communications and mission systems that do a lot of what we call intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So that happens throughout the world, obviously, and obviously it's a vital part and component of our national security strategy. The contract allows us to provide the kind of software, that kind of support that I mentioned earlier. So many of our systems engineers, model-based systems engineers, many of our software developers, and also in terms of hardware, we provide that kind of support as well in terms of the aircraft platform and the various weapons and mission systems. So it really encompasses just about every aspect of a capability that the Navy needs in naval aviation, and it's a program, like I said, that provides security in the electronic warfare and the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance mission, throughout the world. So vital mission, vital opportunity for us, and we couldn't be more proud and honored to be a part of that mission.
Good, great. And then could you maybe just break down, I think the company typically lands contracts across 3 different buckets in terms of how they're structured. I was wondering if you could just describe those 3 contract structures, what this recent win, which bucket that falls into, and maybe the margins associated with the different types of contracts that you win.
Sure. And yes, Derek, I think any of us in the government contracting business, and especially in the defense contracting part of that, are pretty familiar with some of these contracts. And you typically see either a cost plus fixed fee, a firm fixed price contract, or what they call time and material. And so the names sort of describe the kind of contracts they are, so I won't get into great level of detail. I'm sure most of our audience might be bored by that just a little bit. But The reason why the types of contracts are significant is because each contract has associated requirements that come with them, and a risk sort of a factor that is also built into those contracts. So the government, depending upon what they need, a service, a solution, a product, they'll choose the contract vehicle and the type of contract. When it comes to services and solutions, they typically choose what we call a cost plus fixed fee contract. And that is where, we know up front what the government's requirements are. And we propose to them how we can meet those requirements at a certain price level. And when the government receives our proposal, they usually receive several more from other companies. And they evaluate our offer based upon the technical capabilities that we bring, as well as the cost that we're offering. So they call it a best case scenario for them, where they get the best bang for their buck in terms of the services and solutions they're looking for. So ultimately, they'll choose the company that they feel will provide the best services and solutions at the best cost. So in this particular case, as an example, the $100 million contract we just won, what we proposed to the government, they, as they evaluated our proposal, they deemed that the services from a technical standpoint that we were offering were excellent, outstanding, and they also deemed that the cost that we proposed was reasonable. So on the cost plus fixed fee, as we execute on this contract, we will need to stay within the cost that we proposed. And typically on a cost plus fixed fee, depending on a few different parameters, you can see anywhere from 4 to 10% type of margins. Time and material, a little more flexibility depending upon the government's needs, and there could be a little higher or a little lower type of returns in terms of profitability and margins. And the firm fixed price, that is where it may be a little bit more risk, more risk to the government, but also additional risk to the contractor, in that there is a firm fixed price that you need to shoot for. And it's really up to you to be able to meet the requirements at that price level. And if you can do it in a way where you can increase your margins, companies will do that. But there are times also where the capabilities may be such that, or the requirements may be such that those margins will be, comparable to a cost plus fixed fee. So it's sort of dependent upon each and every customer and the scenario that plays out in terms of requirements and the funding available.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That's very helpful. I was wondering if you could maybe just outline how soon after winning a contract you begin to recognize revenue, I guess in the instance of this most recent contract, as well as more generally. And then alongside that, just how you expect your expense base of G&A, sales and marketing, et cetera, to grow alongside new contract wins.
Sure, Derek. A good question. So a good example was that recent win that we had. The contract was awarded the third week in March, and we were recognizing revenue that first week in April. So does it always happen that way? I will tell you that if you have a mission government customer who is on the ball and at a very, very strong contracting shop, and the company itself is on the ball in terms of contract execution, that will happen. You can start to see a return on that contract in terms of early revenue very, very quickly. I have seen cases though where it could go 30 days, even 60 days before you start to see the revenue come back, and sometimes even longer. I credit that to just ill preparation, both in terms of the contractor and probably in terms of the government contracting shop as well. But we're very fortunate. We've never had that issue. We've recognized revenue almost immediately upon contract award. And again, that's a testament to the team that we have. And then as far as the costs associated with some of these prime contracts, I think smart companies in our industry, in our sector, have a very clear understanding of what it takes to really manage and execute on a prime contract. You're very well prepared for it, or you should be. And our particular company, CTM, we have several prime contracts now. And I know that there's a certain number of contracts in terms of size, scope, and requirements in terms of how they need to be managed, how we execute on them, the support that's required, where at some point there's probably some additional, resources, additional manpower that's needed. But right now, I could probably win, 2 or 3 more contracts with very, very little additional cost. And that's the beauty of the industry that we're in. If you're smart and you plan ahead, you can really, really manage your cost and keep them, where they should be. Because obviously, the more overhead you have, the less margin you have, and there is a fine balance there. At the same time, you want to be able to execute and do it better than anybody else, and that means that you do have to resource your team in a way that they can. Right now at CTM, we're in a great spot. I feel like we can win 2 or 3 more contracts with the team that we have before we have to bring in any additional resources and any additional costs.
Okay, great. And then could you maybe just talk about your current backlog and pipeline and the opportunities you have there?
Sure. Again, I think, we're not unlike other industries, and, backlog and pipeline are important to track. I would always caution, our shareholders and investors and anybody else who is interested in, our industry, in terms of pipeline information. And pipelines are, obviously a litany of opportunities that the company has identified. And the real question is, what is the quality of your pipeline? There are numerous tools in our industry to build up a pipeline, and you can talk to many companies and you'll hear companies say, hey, we have a $500 million pipeline or $1 billion pipeline or a $2 billion pipeline. And that sounds pretty impressive, but there really should be a follow-on question or a series of questions. Well, tell me about the pipeline. What kind of opportunities do you have in your pipeline? Are they near-term, mid-term, long-term? How practical, how realistic are those opportunities that you've identified? Are they just a shot in the dark? Are they opportunities associated with your current customers? Are there opportunities associated with the kind of capabilities that you've already developed? Are there opportunities that where you're going to have to develop new capabilities or develop a new relationship with a different kind of a customer? So to me, when you spat out a figure, $800 million pipeline, that's just probably 2% of what you really need to know about that pipeline. But to answer your question, Derek, we have an $800 million pipeline. And I believe that it's a very strong and qualified pipeline in terms of very realistic, very practical opportunities that we've identified between now and the next 5 years that we want to be prepared for. So a tremendous amount of preparation, capture goes into these opportunities, and we're constantly updating that pipeline. We're constantly adjusting it, constantly refreshing it, and working it. And as far as backlog, a little more straightforward. Those are all the obviously the ones that we've already submitted and work that we expect to have back. And we have right now about 25 pending awards in terms of opportunities that where we are competing for, and that comes out to about total contract revenue value of between $160 to $200+ million, and that could help. Those are sometime depending upon the government cycle of awards and everything else, could anywhere in the 6 to 12 to 18 months.
Okay, great. Then in terms of the contracts you've won thus far, can you talk a little bit about what agencies you're helping serve there in terms of Army, Navy, Air Force, etc., where the bulk is coming from? And then maybe just some commentary on your plans, if you plan to either, focus on where you're currently winning contracts now and expand within there, or are you looking to expand to other agencies as well?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that because that's sort of our future. CTM has really evolved in the past year, and I want to make sure our potential anybody that's interested in our company and certainly our shareholders has a really good clear picture of this. Because the company was founded in November of 2019, and I took over the role of CEO last summer in July of 2024. So just about a year that I've been in this role. And so I can tell you that probably a good portion of the time from 2019, and we uplisted in October of 2022, we brought together 7 acquisitions. And so you can just imagine, the level of effort required to integrate 7 different companies. And so I would describe it as trying to fly an airplane while you're building it. I think we did a super job of bringing those companies together. We're now 3 legal entities. Corvus Specialty Systems and GTMR are 3 prime companies within our CTM family. And so during that time of integration, business growth was certainly a priority, but the integration piece took up a lot of time, effort, and resources. Since last July, I can say that our focus and our priorities definitely shifted. I think we're able to put the integration and the bringing those companies together behind us. Centralized all the important requirements and activities in terms of business development, human resources, finance, all the things to be able to support our companies. We put those in place, and I feel like we're 100%, clicking and moving. So since last July, 100% focused on organic growth, trying to grow our company with the kind of resources that we need. And so to your question, Derek, to be successful in this business, you need to win prime contracts, and that is definitely our goal and our commitment and focus. And over the last year, I think what you've seen with our prime contract win this past March of $100 million plus. You also saw as we worked up to that contract, you could see some improvement in our performance in terms of each quarter, in terms of our revenue, our margin, some of the work that we're gaining in other areas, and our stock value started to climb and to rise, and through some equity raises, we were able to really put ourselves in a very strong financial position as we started 2025 calendar year, and where we raised over $60 million in equity and cash. We were able to bring our debt down to a very, very reasonable level. Much of the debt was associated with those 7 acquisitions. And so as we went into the first quarter and into the second quarter of this year, we had plenty of cash, we had lower debt, a very strong, healthy balance sheet. That has allowed me to really focus on business development growth and really identify and bring in the kind of resources that I know we need to continue to grow and to continue the momentum of this $100 million plus contract that we just won. So we're very, very focused on our prime market, which is right now the Navy and the RDT&E requirements in Naval Aviation Systems Command. And the reason why that is so important for us, because I said earlier, it is a $60 billion enterprise. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity just in that prime market that we have. I don't want to lose momentum there because of the investments we've made. It's a market that we're very intimate with, customers that we're very intimate with, and it takes very little for us in terms of investment to continue to dig deeper into that market and I think get some really positive returns. But at the same time, because of the good things that have happened with our balance sheet and with our resources, I'm able now to really balance our portfolio and really move and take some of our capabilities, some of the good things that we do currently for the Navy and Naval Aviation, and do it for the Army, do it for the Air Force, do it for NASA, do it for various other national security organizations. And that's exactly what we're doing. So we're laser focused, on our current market that we feel very intimate with, but at the same time starting to expand across some of the other markets that we know that we can bring some expertise and hopefully convince our government customers that we should be a prime contractor for them as well. We're very unique in that we're, I think, one of the very few publicly traded companies in the government contracting, defense contracting world at our size. You know, we're roughly at $60 million in revenue here in terms of our run rate based upon this recent win. Most of the public companies in our business and our industry are probably in the $1 billion mark and or $500 million and greater. And so we're starting to see, I think, a better balance in terms of the benefits of being a publicly traded company now as we get larger, because there are costs obviously associated with being a publicly traded company. But there's also opportunities to raise capital to continue to grow, and that's been very, very helpful for us. So as we look forward, Derek, you know, organic growth is certainly 100% focus in terms of our energy and our priority. But at the same time, we know that a company like ours, we also need to grow through mergers and acquisitions. So we sort of consider the organic growth our ground game. And you know, if you're a football fan, you know that the running game is so important. But it usually yields, you know, 4 or 5 yards, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards at a time. Unless you're a Saquon Barkley, and you know, you can, you know, take it all the way down to the goal line. But for us, the running game is that organic growth, and that is usually 5 or 10 yards down the field. And I'd like to open it up with some additional M&A, and you know, and that's our passing game, right?
Yes,
and that gets us down the field even more quickly and in larger chunks and closer to our goal line. And so you'll see a combination of both organic growth and inorganic growth in terms of the right kinds of M&As that we would like to do.
Okay, great. We have a couple of seconds left. I was wondering if there's anything else you would want to highlight before you wrap up here, either in terms of priorities for 25 or just bigger picture, or just anything else you thought would be of importance to mention.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. And if I didn't already highlight it, I hope I get the message across that CTM is all about our people. We do have world-class professionals, and they're always going to make a difference for us. And if I have, you know, if I have any, the kind of encouragement and the excitement I feel for our future, it's because of the team we've put together and the kind of professionals we have.
This dude is such a
in
stand-up
our business,
guy.
it's all about our people. So I will tell you that I was watching Scotty Scheffler and his win at the PGA Championship, and someone asked him, "Hey, you know, do you want to be the greatest golfer ever?" And he said, "You know, I really just want to be the number one golfer in the world today." And he said, "Well, how do you do that?" And he says, "Well, I've got to win tournaments." And I feel like CTM is the same way. I'm not looking to be the greatest contracting company in the history of the world, but I do want to be one of the top ones here. And the way we do it is to win contracts. And I think we have everything in place to continue to win contracts and to move us forward. We could be more excited about our purpose, which is to support that national security mission in terms of keeping our country safe and secure and free, and then providing opportunity for our people as we grow. And I think that's the ticket to our success in terms of the culture that we've developed. And we've got a winning culture. We know how to win contracts, and we know how to bring the right kinds of companies together to continue to grow. So I feel very, very good, Derek, about our future as I look ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you, Glenn, and thank you everyone for joining. Once again, Castellum, ticker CTM, covered with a buy rating, $3 price target, and we think this is a very exciting name with a lot of potential ahead. So we hope everyone, you know, delves into the story a little bit more here.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.